Hi, and welcome to this edition of Financial Planning Innovation. My name is Marc Glickman. I'm an actuary and an insurance expert, and it's my pleasure to have on the line QuHarrison Terry. He's a futurist. I met him on LinkedIn. He's a top voice. He's got all these ideas about the future of technology, and it's really excited to have him on today. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Mark. It's a pleasure, man. I'm excited to converse with you on all the things.
So I know you're doing all kinds of things. You're working with Mark Cuban. You're working on this community of futurists. Tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into this and interest in this space.
Yeah, so my background starts first and foremost as a technologist. I've always been kind of computer science nerd geek. I didn't really like the program per se all day long because, like, when you do that as a profession, you stand at a screen for a little bit longer than I'd like. And I was more of a socialite. So, with that being said, I realized that I could speak the speak and walk the walk. So, what I ended up doing was marketing to developers. And that was its own interesting ordeal. And that taught me a lot about marketing. And then I was able to use those skills to apply that to different avenues and careers. Now I work with Mark Cuban on a daily basis. Doing just that, working through marketing strategies and growth initiatives for our portfolio companies. And at night, I'm working on the inevitable human community, which is a community of future thinkers thinking about, how technology is changing our lives at large. And that's actually how we got connected.
Right, absolutely. And that's the key to all of this is you and I, we can live across the country from each other, but we can have this face-to-face conversation and really grow our knowledge and we're really connectors, right? We're trying to connect people with one another.
Hmm.
We're going to talk about financial planning innovation today. And I know there's a
Okay.
number of technologies that you've run into and ideas that you have about, what's the future of financial planning. So tell me a little bit about some thoughts you have around the space.
Yeah. So I think when it comes to the future of financial planning, there's never been a better time to get started because one, the cost, it's just so low. I mean, there's an app called Cash App, right, that allows you to buy fractional shares. That means I could put $1 into Berkshire Hathaway Class A shares, and I would own a little fraction of that gigantic stock. And that's never really been accessible to the 12-year-old kid that has big dreams and aspirations of going to Wall Street, or the 25-year-old fry cook that's still figuring it out, or even like the guy that's made his money in index funds and bonds and all that, but still wants to get some exposure to some of the securities that are individualized and have a little bit more risk. But it's an interesting time because you can do that, but not only can you do that, you can use automation on your side to kind of get ahead of the curve, right? So, as you know, getting started early and doing things consistently is really how you get an advantage on anything regarding finance and wealth. And the computer, you can set it and forget it. And you just kind of have to remember that if I say I'm going to take out $50 a week, well, maybe I can't eat out as much, or maybe I can't do something, but I'm going to get 10x return on whatever that investment is, or whatever the return is down the road at a future date. So you kind of use the algorithms to do that for you, and I think it's easier to do it now than it ever has been before.
Right. And as you know, I work with all the top insurance agents, I work with all the top financial planners. And the one
Hmm.
tip that everyone will give you universally is the key to building wealth is saving, paying down your
Yes.
debt and saving. And so these apps, which allow you to kind of automatically save, even if it's on a fractional basis, like buying fractional shares or taking the loose change and putting into the bank, which some of the apps do, that is actually the key to growing your wealth over time. And by automating that, you can't really screw it up, right? And it lowers the
No,
cost of doing it.
exactly. You bring up another app that there's a lot of apps that do this, but Acorns is one of my favorites, where they just take the spare chains and round up and put it in your investment account. It's pretty cool because that spare change can grow for you, and their whole concept of you have an acorn today, but it becomes a mighty oak tomorrow. I thought that's very visual, and it brings a new group of not only unbanked participants. And when I say unbanked, not necessarily they don't have a bank account, but they don't have a bank account with the financial understanding behind it, right? So if you have a certain amount of money in your account, you will get access to wealth advisors and people that specialize in helping you kind of amass more money. That that knowledge costs the bank, money and time, so that they don't offer that to everyone. But because of technology and automation, those same no those same applications and actions and the knowledge behind those actions can now be kind of programmed and just kind of just done organically, as long as you get the machine or algorithm going. So
Right.
it's
Right.
one of those things where I'm super fascinated by what the future of the digital wallet looks like, and I think it's a super surprising time, because we're really at the precipice of this innovation. Like it's not it's anyone's game. It's not an Apple, Google, Microsoft thing right now. It's really like, an incumbent can come in and own it, or it could be an upstart that says, "Hey, we're thinking about it like this way," and
Right.
that's what makes me most fascinated.
Yeah, and it's happening in the other direction too. Even though, like most financial advisors, like you said, they work with higher net worth individuals, the innovations that they're doing in that space are trickling down. We're starting to see them, free stock trades now, from like
Yeah,
those large
Robinhood.
brokerage houses, right? All that kind of thing, or
Yeah,
Robinhood,
yeah,
kind of thing. So it's working in both directions and towards a more positive future for everybody. So
indeed.
yeah.
Well,
Well,
I that's what the gist of it for me today. Any other questions?
no, that's good. No, thanks for joining us today on the financial planning innovation, and I hope to have you on future episodes.
Let's do it, man. Thank you.